Coming up, the announcement of gaming licenses delayed once again, this time due to the sheer volume of work. And what do Bahamians think about the ongoing Bahamas saga? The responses are mixed. So don't go anywhere. The Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition, starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Good evening, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. Thanks so much for tuning in. Topping the news tonight, the government hopes to have the new regulated gaming system in place before the end of the year. It was previously announced that web shop licenses would have been approved by May, but extensive information requirement and high technology demands have apparently led to a delay in that process. Minister of Tourism with responsibility for gaming, Obi Wilchcombe, says these details are now being worked out.
Technology is so superior and many areas that we weren't familiar with that we are becoming much more versed in, and also the depth of the detail. The truth is, when you appreciate that some of these companies filed hundreds and hundreds of workers that must go through probity, we have been asking for certain things to be done in compliance with the regulations, such as the laboratory testings, the gates that they must put up for protection of information, the ISLs, the internal control systems. All those things have to be in place, and so a lot of work is still taking place. But we're optimistic about it. Many of the companies have complied. Some are still trying to get things done, and so we're trying to be fair to all. But very soon we'll give a date, and that date will be the date we'll go with, and who is not in place by then will certainly not be considered.
According to Minister Wilchcombe, the staff complement has also increased to manage the high volume of gaming work.
We have teams working. We've increased the staff. We're continuing to increase the staff because of the workload that's required. And we have to put certain things in place. We have to ensure that the system meets the internationally accepted standards. And so for that to take place, we have had to put the bodies in place, had to put the experts in place. But we are working. Certainly it will be completed before the end of the year.
As the Bahamas saga continues, with the nation's chief announcing the government's intentions to put Bahamar in liquidation, our news team took to the streets of New Providence to garner the views of concerned citizens.
Adrian Archer is a musician and member of St. George's Church. He says the Bahamar situation seems larger than life. However, the government's most recent decision sheds some light.
So I don't have a problem with the government looking after Bahamian citizens at all. Whether the government was on the ball from the get-go is another story. But because they're taking an action which is going to protect Bahamians' jobs and their citizens and their sovereignty, I have no problems with that.
Carolyn Bowe says the whole Bahamar timeline must be taken into account. She believes both the developer Sarkis Ismailian and the government need to be more forthcoming.
Both parties need to be honest in their decision making, because at the end of the day, you're not hurting Ismailian and you're not hurting the Prime Minister. The people are getting hurt because they've given up so much for the development of Bahamar.
Both Archer and Bowe believe that the Prime Minister should have attended the recent negotiations in China.
Well, I would have thought that the Prime Minister would have gone. You know what I mean? I don't know that it made a difference, but I think when you do something at that high level and the stakes are that high, maybe the people didn't respect the Attorney General, I don't know. But I think that if you're going to fly all the way to China, you expect to come back with something more positive than just, they're still negotiating.
Why would I send my assistant, me being the leader, and if this is so important to me and my country, and people are looking up to me, I won't send my second person or no Attorney General. I would have gone myself to negotiate. You shouldn't send somebody to do the job that is expected of you. That's why the people put you there.
Civil activist Basil Christie says he was excited by the prospect of foreign investors bringing in much-needed financing to the country. Now, he says he's let down by the project's delays, which he blames on the government.
I'm terribly disappointed. And do I blame the Ismailian or the Chinese or the Americans. This is it. This is being managed by this government, so this government has to take the blame. Totally disappointed.
When asked how he felt about the company's decision to file bankruptcy in a U.S. court, the Special Olympics organizer says business is business.
For them, it's about money, and if this is going to protect their investment or cut their losses, if that's the way to go, that's the way to go. They're business people. I mean, they don't have any particular loyalty to the Bahamas.
However, this Bahamian has just one concern regarding Bahamar.
I just need to open. Hurry up and get things sorted out so I can open.
While many Bahamians like Bernadette anticipate its opening, that date is yet to be determined. Jared Higgs, ZNS Network News.
Thank you, Jared. A 2-day official visit by the director of the Pan American Health Organization has concluded. A press conference by health authorities at the Ministry of Health Friday marked her official visit. Dr. Carissa Etienne's visit centered on the upcoming National Health Insurance Scheme. Health Minister the Honorable Dr. Perry Gomez called it a privilege, rewarding and fulfilling to have hosted Dr. Etienne, saying she's the most appropriate expert in the field of social health insurance the government could consult with at this time.
It is always a pleasure to sit and listen to people of knowledge, experts in their field. And it just so happens that Dr. Etienne, the director of PAHO, is also an expert in social health insurance. And so she was the perfect choice to come to visit the Bahamas at this particular point in our voyage to the introduction of national health insurance on January 1st, 2016.
Now, Dr. Etienne deemed it an honor to share her experience on the implementation of national health insurance regionally and internationally. She spoke directly to what she feels the package should be to make the NHI scheme relevant.
I've tried particularly to interact with the stakeholders in terms of what are their expectations, in terms of positioning universal health coverage within a broader context of equity, within a broader context of strengthening health systems, where you need not only address health financing, of which national health insurance is merely one component, but also to look and to plant within that context the need for human resources for health that are well trained, well distributed, well motivated, to talk a little about health infrastructure, access to medicines, and good governance and information.
Stay close, we've got more news right after this quick break.